Do you know how much I would spend if I fed Caledonia here with a veterinarian's approved diet? This much. And can you guess how much I actually spend? This much. Yes, less than $1 a day. And the quality of the food I give her is much better, which means I spend a lot less on vet bills. Wondering how I do that? In this video, I'm going to show you how the top 5 food brands compare when it comes to feeding your cat, and how these compares to the cost of feeding a raw diet in terms of price and quality. Because really, we want to be giving our babies the best nutrition and health that we can give them. Now, if you're new here, let me introduce myself. I'm Micol. I am a pet nutrition specialist, animal homeopath, and osteopath. I share my life with my 2 cats, which you've seen, Caledonia at the beginning, and there's her mother, Britannia, and Iberia, my small dog. Welcome to our channel. If you want to give the best to your fur babies in terms of nutrition, and you're wondering how to integrate a holistic approach to your cats and dogs' health, this is exactly the right channel for you. Now, since we'll be looking at data, we're going to leave Caledonia here to her nap, and we're going to head over to my computer. Join me. And here we are. So, first of all, let's go over the selection process. Why I chose the brands I did, how I selected the products, and how I determined the cost per day. Now, you know that I'm very selective when it comes to my cat's food, and I wanted you to benefit from my, shall we say, picky and discerning cat mama side. If you're not interested in the nitty-gritty of how I selected these and you just want the good stuff, then feel free to go ahead and skip to the next time code, okay? All right, so how I chose each product. I wanted to compare the cost of feeding quality, or shall we say quality cat food, to feeding a raw diet. So I chose common veterinarian recommended brands, as well as some other high quality brands, because let's be honest, like none of us want to feed poor quality food to our cats, okay? And if you do, then this is not the right channel for you. I selected the product as if I had to feed it to my own cats, so you know that these are actual real life numbers. I chose lamb or rabbit over other ingredients because Caledonia has severe food allergies and that's what she gets to eat. So if that was not available, I did go with beef, which is okay. Unfortunately, some products did contain some chicken meal, and it's really difficult to exclude that. And this is actually why homemade is better. And the other reason is price. Like, we'll see in this video. And I mean, you're gonna be totally shocked, like completely, all right? All right, let's not get ahead of myself. Let's talk about how I chose the amounts, all right? Oh, and if you find this video helpful or valuable to you in any way, then please give us a like and share it with somebody who might benefit. And again, if you're done with all of the details, then go ahead and skip ahead so that you can find the actual numbers, okay? Let's move on to how I chose the amounts. So different brands have different recommended feeding amounts. This is actually common, okay? Each of them has a different recipe, and the problem is that cats are small, and the small differences in portions can make a huge difference in amount of calories they get. So I felt it was a little bit too arbitrary to use cups. I decided to go with the number of calories a cat would need based on their body weight. I went on the Ohio State U website and used their formula to calculate her needs based on her body weight and activity level, which is actually what I use in my own spreadsheets. Again, you can find the link in the description if you want to check it out for your own cat. Then once I figured out how many calories my cat would need per day, I looked at each of the foods I included in this video, and particularly I looked at the calories per kilograms of each of them and used that to calculate how much I'd have to feed for each food per day and per month. This really puts all of the different types of food on the same playing field. It wouldn't be fair to go with the manufacturer's recommendations since some cat foods are more calorie dense than others. Finally, I had to choose which size bag to use in my comparison. I chose the size bag that was closest to what one cat could consume in a month. So actually cat food should not be fed for longer than 6 weeks, should not be open for longer than 6 weeks. And so I thought, I would stretch it a little bit. I went with, if my cat would finish it within 2 months, then I thought that was acceptable. Okay, so let's look at the foods. And in particular, I wanted to tell you that I selected dry and wet foods. Within the dried foods, I looked at regular kibble, I looked at air-dried kibble, and I looked at freeze-dried kibble. Now, freeze-dried and air-dried are somewhat similar. They do have a lot more nutrients and are processed a little bit less than regular kibble, but I freeze-dried actually because it stays at a lower temperature and it actually loses a little bit more moisture than air-dried is a little bit better. So as we go through these, know that I'm going through them in terms of increasing quality. So the first ones I talk about are the lower quality ones, and then I go higher in quality. Then after dry food, I look at wet food. And again, in wet food, I looked at canned, so the regular canned stuff, and then homemade raw. Again, these in the same way, I went from the lower quality to the higher quality foods. And obviously, I'm sure you know by now that I do believe that homemade raw is the highest quality, or raw anyway is the highest quality that we can give them. So enough of this, let's look at the numbers. All right, so look at these first ones, right? These orange ones. Now we've got Royal Canin Veterinary Diet, Hill's Prescription Diet, Instinct Raw Boost. So this is actually not raw, it's kibble that's covered with a little bit of raw food, but generally speaking, it's a kibble. And it boosts because it has a little bit of freeze-dried ingredients in there as well. Acana Wild Atlantic. The reason why I went with fish, I'm sure you've seen the other ones don't contain fish, but I couldn't find an Acana that would work for Caledonia, so that wouldn't contain chicken or in significant amounts. So I ended up going with this one, and the prices were basically similar for Acana. Then Origin Tundra. I could have gone with Tundra or Regional Red. Both would have worked, but the prices are the same. So you can see that we're kind of, for one cat, we're in between like $26 a day, almost $27 a day, and almost $42 a day, which is your average price. And you can see, we'll look at the ingredients. Another video is coming where we're going to look at the ingredients that each that cat food has, so that you can learn how to choose within cat foods which ones is better. But these are actually put in order of quality. So the lowest quality is the Royal Canin, the highest quality ingredients is Origin. But the prices are they kind of stay the same, which is crazy because Origin actually uses meat, whole meat. You use very little flours, so meat flours, and it does use a little bit of meal, but it's kind of down in the ingredients list. So the prices kind of stay the same. So the next that I wanted to look at was air dried, and air dried I only found seaweed beak. Now, yes, 87 or 87 a month. But please keep in mind that Seaweed Peaks is a company from New Zealand. So the prices that we see in North America are because this has to be shipped, which is really not health or environmentally conscious. So if you do live in Australia or in New Zealand, I wouldn't be surprised if the prices were much better. And the quality of Seaweed Peaks is quite good. So if you live down under, do check the prices because they're probably going to be different than what I can find here. All right, so then I moved on and I wanted to look at freeze-dried foods. And this is where the interesting thing comes in. So I looked at Instinct Original and Stella and Chewy Absolutely Rabbit. Look at the difference in price, huh? And I mean, Instinct really surprised me. Really surprised me. So these are freeze-dried, and look at the price, $19.40 a month. That's pretty good. Pretty good for freeze-dried food. I'm really surprised that they can keep the price that low. Stella and Chewy's Absolutely Rabbit is absolutely not affordable for me. $236 and 84. I would obviously consider it if I had to go to dry for whatever reason, and it was only for a short period. But Instinct is also a very good option, all right? And so if wet is not an issue, or you are transitioning your cat and you know that you kind of have to go to higher quality and higher quality and higher quality, so you go from normal kibble to freeze-dried kibble, and then you start feeding can, and then slowly you transition to raw. This is a very good option, all right, because it could definitely be maintained long term. Okay, so let's move on and let's look at the wet foods, all right, in particular the canned foods. So these are the canned foods that I could find. I looked at Royal Canin, veterinary diet, again, obviously, and Hill's prescription diet. Like I said, I wanted to look at veterinarian prescribed diets, and obviously these are it. So prices very high. Look at how much it would cost to feed one cat with canned food from Royal Canin. Quite a bit. Again, like I said, it probably would not be affordable for me. Hill's prescription, 140, still pretty expensive. Then I looked at Instinct Original, which is a pate, and 213. Instinct grain-free mince rabbit, so they have two different recipes. And this one is 231, so prices are kind of similar. And finally, I did look at the Tiwi Peaks, which is not even the most expensive, 218. I really like the ingredients of this when I saw it. So if you are in New Zealand, again, I really would consider looking at it because I was very surprised. So yes, these are quite more expensive, but again, the quality of nutrition that you're giving your cat, and the moisture content and the protein content and the protein quality of the food is definitely better than kibble. I mean, that's you don't even have to ask yourself that. The last thing that I looked at was homemade raw, and I mean, it's shocking. I mean, this is a cat that eats rabbit, which is expensive, and it's a diet for very sensitive cats. She was, rescuing in really, really poor conditions, and I still have to really watch her diet. So obviously, it's the most expensive raw diet that I can give her because it's the most expensive meat. And look at how much I spent. Look, €10.73 a month. €10 a month. Okay, let's make it 11 euros a month for dollars. $11 a month. I mean, this is like two lattes for raw. And I see what you're thinking. You're thinking, yeah, but I mean, like, who has the time? Like, honestly, if you go on my Instagram, you're gonna see I actually sometimes do lives when I feed in the morning. The morning, it takes me literally 2 minutes. And when I prepare food, I actually prepared food last night for a month, and it took me less than an hour for 2 cats with 2 diets. I mean, come on, like an hour a month. That's for 2 cats, so that's basically like 30 minutes a month, and that's basically like 8 minutes a week, 1 minute a day that you are saving and spending on preparing food for your cat, and you're only spending €10.73. I mean, you can't go better than this. You can't go better than this. Okay, so I hope that this was helpful. I hope that I managed to convince you once again of the possibilities and of the quality that you can give without having to spend an arm and a leg, without having to spend hours to prepare it. Okay? Now, if you're interested, I do have another video. I'm going to link it for you here. And that's where I go through what a raw diet for cats should look like. And I also have a guide for you that you can download. It's going to be linked down here so you can check it out. You can go through it on your own, or you can download it and then watch the video and go through it while you watch the video. And it will give you a chance to go through all of the details and do all of the math that you need to do to figure out what you need to feed your cat. Now, when you're done with that, go ahead and check me out. And I keep saying that, but you don't check me out. But like come and check out on my Instagram and Facebook, and book a free 20-minute diet review session with me with your diet guide completed, and we can go over it together. You can tell me some of the specifics of your cat, and I can give you a few pointers that you can use to help your cat and to get started. All right? So I hope that you got some value from this video. Do leave us a like if you enjoyed it. Please share it with other cat owners. And if you have a dog, check out, we also have the dog version. Again, mind-blowing. That one is mind-blowing as well. And, oh, I forgot. I wanted to show you the cost per day. Here's the cost per day. Look at this. 36 cents. Wild, huh? Wild. 36 cents a day. I mean, that's like, it's seriously, how can you not? How can you not feed raw when it's that cheap? All right, well, thank you for watching. Give your cat a kiss for me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.